So the Honourable Finance Minister, Honourable Home Minister, has mentioned the three recent incidents which have recently increased the uneasiness and caused a lot of disquiet in the entire country. Two young lives of students from the northeast in Manesar near Gurgaon and in Bangalore were recently lost. And at the time of the BRICS summit, a very large number of northeastern students studying in Delhi and also employed in Delhi had a serious grievance that they were being profiled and picked up even temporarily by the police. Sir, the partition of this country in 1947, when we discuss it, certainly brought a lot of bloodshed in the western region. Punjab suffered, other areas suffered. But Northeast suffered virtually in perpetuity. Because of the carving out of East Pakistan, which later became Bangladesh, it moved away almost 1,000 kilometers in terms of distance. Now the impact of this was that the developmental activities in Northeast have considerably suffered. Despite efforts of various governments, Northeast has not grown in the same manner in which the rest of the country has. Northeast also has a genuine complaint that certain central schemes and projects, our endeavor to assist them in various things, have not really lived up to the mark. My recent visit to some areas of Northeast, most states don't still have a train service. Even in Assam, where the facility is available, what we used to hear in the 50s and the 60s and other parts of the country, the big issue is conversion of meter gauge into broad gauge, particularly to the Barak Valley. We have the highway project going on successfully in the rest of the country. The Mahasadak Yojana, which was to really extend beyond West Bengal into the northeast, you can still see only built in patches and not usable. All this has considerably suffered, and the educational infrastructure in Northeast also has suffered. I have been going through certain reports of studies which have been conducted with regard to educational institutions which we have established in the Northeast. Now, one of the comments, if I just read out just the broad points which they have said with regard to some of those institutions. Syllabus has not been updated for more than 10 years. Number of new courses have not been added. Institute-industry interaction is not taking place. Flight of faculty is taking place and adequate faculty is not available. Quality and quantity of qualified faculty is declining at an alarming rate. Number of PhD holders have been reduced to a minority in many cases. Placement of students with industry becomes a weak link. Now, all these factors have therefore contributed to really a large number of Northeast students wanting to go to other parts of the country for education. Now, while the reason for this is unfortunate, but there is a silver lining in this. Their interaction with the rest of the country contributes to national integration. It helps us really in understanding what their problems are. I remember, sir, when I was a student, the organization to which I belonged used to carry on a program in relation to Northeast student experiences in interstate living. And some of them used to come, their structured tours used to be organized. Not many were coming here to study at that time. They used to live with families for a few days and we got to understand them. Now a situation, if we see in a larger context, and now we've dealt with hundreds and thousands of them. In fact, one recent study recently indicated that between 2005 and 2010, the number of people migrating for jobs and education from Northeast went up about 12 times. That's the figure. It was 34,000 in 2005. In 2010, it was 4,14,850. That's the pace at which it is increasing. The silver lining in this is, and if we see these students, extremely charming personalities, polite, humble, very eager to interact with the rest of the people, they have to be made to feel wanted in the rest of the society. They've left a great impact in educational institutions to which they belong. But at the same time, and most of them want to have the benefit of higher education institutions of quality in other parts of the country. They want their own educational profiles and personalities to evolve. And then they want to be a part of this great growth story that we talk about in the rest of the country. And we have to admit, and it's a genuine admission which everybody has to make, that the growth in those regions has not been at the pace at which we would have expected it to be. And therefore, in search of education, in search of better quality employment, they have moved to different parts of the country. And therefore, I am quite, I must note that in paragraph 9 of the Honorable Home Minister's statement, when he says that I wish to categorically state that any citizen belonging to the northeastern states is free to travel and to reside in any part of the country. They have a right to security and peace. They also have a right to live free from any form of discrimination, from any form of racial profiling. They have a right to enjoy the fruits of development which in several other parts of the country people have now begun to enjoy to a limited extent. Under these circumstances, sir, we need to assure all students and other citizens who have come from Northeast either in search of education or in search of jobs in this part of the country, that not only is their safety and security going to be maintained, there's a lot we have to learn from them. Most of them are multilingual. They are multi-religious, and they are belonging to different religious denominations. And therefore, we have a lot to learn from them. And in this context, therefore, I would like the Honorable Home Minister to consider, in addition to the steps that he has already taken, the larger, to consider whether in these areas, in these cities, where larger number of students are available, whether in the Union Territory or in the states, a specific helpline for them can be created. We have data of surveys and studies done on students of Northeast. One recent study says 86% of them have complained of some form or other of the harassment. If the figure is as large as this is alarming. It's an eye-opener. And therefore, must we not in these major areas that these students study or these people are working, we have a specific helpline in each of these cities. It's not a very costly exercise. I think any state government will be, if properly advised, will be quite willing to do it. The Union Territories also can do it. I also think there is a need to sensitize the rest of the Indian society. When students from Jammu and Kashmir, from the northeastern states come and study here or people come and work there, I think it's extremely important for a larger national goal that their integration with the Indian society is further strengthened by virtue of the attitude that the society has had with them. And therefore, within universities, within workplaces, and within the society, and I think media, particularly electronic media, will have a huge role to play. We've carried on campaigns how tourists are to be treated. We've carried on campaigns how weaker sections of the society are to be treated, how women are to be treated in society. And therefore, in relation to this, I think we need to carry on a campaign in India so that we can sensitize our own people on how in such events these people who come from Northeast to study and work in these places are to be treated. And finally, sir, I would like to request the government, through the Honorable Home Minister, areas where very obvious developmental activities which have contributed to a neglect of the Northeast are pending. Their roads, their railways, their connectivity, improvement in their educational institutions, etc., that the government must, through the Ministry of Northeastern regions, which has been created for this purpose, look into these matters very seriously And there are some areas which will take time, but there are some areas which are very easily doable, and I think top priority must be given to those areas itself. Thank you.
Okay.